Good evening, John. We have a
Good
special
evening.
guest here. There's someone else in our screen here. Who is this person?
We do. We have a special guest today. We thought we'd shake it up a little bit here, Steph Nation, and we have Natalie, who's joining us today. She's based in Seattle. I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself. But Natalie is related. She's part of the family, and she's also a Steph Nation fan. So therefore, she gets special privileges.
Of course.
So yeah. So this is Natalie. Natalie, you can introduce yourself to say hello.
Hello, I'm in
Yeah.
West Seattle, grew up in the Midwest, and John's wife and I grew up having a lot of fun together.
Right. And Natalie, you're from Pekin, Illinois, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Pekin. Yeah, that's
And
where that's a happening town.
so Pekin. So this is so now this is, I would assume, rural. It's obviously not a big city, I would
No.
imagine. That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
well, listen, welcome to Steph Nation. As John mentioned, this is a new format. We wanted to really make this interactive and bring fans on and people that want to share their side and of not the story, but their opinions and their passion. And so thank you in advance for sending us this list of your favorite movies.
Mhm.
And I thought we'd start off one with that you said that you liked, that really spoke to you when you were in your high school years, which is John Hughes' Breakfast Club,
Mhm.
1985. Right. And
Yes.
you're just to tell you, you're in good company because in
Yeah.
2015, this was listed in the Library of Congress as being a culturally relevant movie. Okay. In the film registry. So you're in good hands. It's not like the movie's like, no one's heard of it. So Natalie, tell us a little bit about why you like this. Like, what is it about this movie that you like?
I just liked it because the people that started it, they were all around our age, and you could really relate to them. And I felt like they were really speaking to me. Plus, the soundtrack, it's just got some bops on it. It's just great.
So when did you first see it?
It was probably a couple years after it came out because I couldn't see rated R movies.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, keeping it clean. Good parental control.
Yeah. And we
Right.
didn't have like cable or anything like that. So you had to go to the video store.
I got you. I got you. So you saw it at home, or
Yeah.
you
With some
rented.
friends, probably. Yeah.
And how was that? Like, did it connect with you then, or did you have to watch it a
Oh,
couple
yeah. Yeah.
times?
No, yeah. I probably watched it right after I got done watching it.
Yeah, that's
And I
Yeah.
awesome.
mean, even still, you can quote it, and pretty much everybody can quote it right along with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of those very quotable movies from our decade, especially. Because I like you, Nelly. I don't remember if I think I may have seen it in a movie theater. I wasn't supposed to either. It was rated R, but I think I saw it. Scott, did you see Breakfast Club in the theater? Or was it on
I
video?
did. No, I saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
It was a big event. But Natalie,
Yeah.
so tell us, so set the scene for us, right? You had
Hmm.
heard of the movie.
I
What
think it
happens
was
then?
my older sister's first rated R movie that she
Oh
went to
yeah.
see, and she
Okay.
probably told me about it. And then
Yeah.
like, well, we've got to find somebody to rent it for us.
Yeah, got it. There was drugs in there. There
Yeah,
was some illegal activity.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
always makes a film exciting. So how was it? So your sister had seen it, older sister.
Yeah.
So did you get some friends? Like, tell us about it.
It was probably a Friday night after football or whatever, and we all
Yeah,
just got together, had pizza, and we would just watch the movies.
got it. And so what was like, so obviously the soundtrack you like, but tell us a little bit about what characters did you find interesting? What scenes?
Bender, you can always like Bender.
Yeah.
He reminded me of this one guy that we used to run around with, but each character, everybody had a little bit of each character in them, kind of.
Yeah. So tell us about like what was some of the that you at least resonated with there. Just tell everyone there was kind of the bad boy Bender. Who
Yeah.
else, Natalie?
Anthony Michael Hall's character, he was kind of the nerdy guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody had a little bit of that, but then everybody wanted to be the Molly Ringwald character because she was the popular girl and, friends with Andrew, going to the good parties and everything.
Yeah.
But then nobody wanted to show themselves to be the Ali Sheehy character because she was kind of weird.
Yeah. So tell us about her. What was weird about her?
She, with the dandruff and making her
That's right.
sandwich and everything.
The Captain
Yeah.
Crunch
And
sandwich
the
with
pixie sticks.
yeah, the pixie, the pure sugar, the
Yeah.
Captain Crunch. Yeah, she was kind of like that sort of emo kind of vibe to her,
Yeah.
right? Kind of dark,
Yeah.
kind of the one that was sort of quiet on the outset.
And with the lies telling about how she hooked up with her psychiatrist and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, pathological
Yeah.
liar.
Now,
Yeah.
were some of these characters, did you have some of these in your high school? Were there guys that or girls you could say that is so and so? Were they relatable to that level?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty big high school too, but yeah, there was a little bit of everybody there.
And so, what was your favorite scene out of in the movie?
I like the dancing. And then when they're
Okay.
running through the halls trying to avoid the principal.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Vernon. Yeah.
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 That,
And and so when you were watching it, like, what were some of the things that you were going through your head, or what was like, were you saying like, gosh, I wish I was there at this high school. I wish I could
Yeah.
dress like Molly Ringwald or
Oh yeah. I mean, Ralph Lauren, hello.
yeah.
got it. Yeah, that was a
uh
big time.
yeah. I just like I went to a smaller elementary school and
Okay.
then I went to the big high school. I just couldn't believe someone spoke to a principal like Bender spoke to Vernon.
Mm, yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah. Would you remember what he said?
Oh, about stealing Barry Manilow's wardrobe
Yeah.
and this, that. Yeah.
Now, do you have any kids that you show this to? Would you show this to your kids, this movie? Or I don't
Oh,
know,
my niece
what
and
age?
nephews, we've seen it. I'm
Okay.
sure we've seen it.
Yeah. Well, it obviously it was a very impactful movie
Yeah.
for many, many, many people. Um, Now it was shot in Illinois in the North Shore. Was there any connection? Like, was there any like, oh, I definitely know who these people are because it was, somewhat in the state, and I don't know where you're located in relation
Yeah.
to Chicago.
Yeah. Couple hours south.
Okay.
Did you know it was shot in that? Like, when I remember in the movie, it says, Shermer High School, Shermer, Illinois. Did that resonate at all, Nat? Like, when you heard Shermer, Illinois, and it was in Illinois, was there any part of it was like, oh wow, this is like this is in our state. This is kind of like our place. It's not in
I
California.
I probably looked at the map because you
Yeah,
couldn't Google it, so I probably
Yeah.
looked at a map like, where is this?
Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah, I remember that because I just remember the high school was Maine North was the high school they shot it at, and I didn't find that out till later on. Then that school ended up getting closed. But I just remember those John Hughes movies and how they were always shot in Illinois. I don't know. I kind of felt like that made us a little bit cool. Like
Yeah.
we got a little bit of
Yeah.
cool factor because of that.
Now finally something from Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah. Really.
It's not a lot.
They need
Yeah.
it.
Not a lot to be cool
What?
about.
Now, when you, your niece and nephew that have seen it, how would you recommend this movie to someone? Let's say there's someone who's just happened to not see this movie, right? Someone they're living under a rock. What would you tell them?
Wow, I don't know. That it has a really good soundtrack and it's
Yeah.
relatable. But then, after you've grown, you kind of listen to that conversation between the custodian and Vernon, and the custodian's asking Vernon how he expected to grow up and how he feels about the kids and thinking what they think about him. And it's just kind of weird because you kind of wonder.
So wait, tell us about this scene. Like I'm trying to remember it.
They're
So
in the
what happened?
basement and Vernon's
Okay.
going through the files and he's like, "Oh, I'll give you $50 if you don't tell anybody I'm down here." And just saying, "What do you think the kids see in you when you come
So
out
there
looking
was
like
there
this?"
was the disciplinarian, and then there was a janitor,
Yeah.
and they were talking and yeah, I just wanted to understand that scene.
Yeah.
Like what you thought it was about. What was it about, John? What was your
Yeah, well,
interpretation of it?
it's weird. So I was about to ask Natalie a question because when I remember seeing that movie and that scene, because it is a very like it's basically Vernon and Carl, the janitor, right?
Okay.
They're having that kind of conversation about the kids, and Carl's like, well, you're basically not understanding them, right? And Vernon's like, you're an idiot, more or less. They were having this conversation about it. And when I was a kid watching it, those years when I was younger, I didn't really get the conversation. Watching it 30 years later, I'm like, I mean, Natalie, do
Okay.
you find that when you watch
Yeah.
this movie and like the conversation, like even with the kids when they're sitting around talking about like themselves and they're in that scene where they're getting kind of deep. I found that there are moments in the movie that were deeper. Now that I'm much older and I'm watching it, I almost like see it for the first time again. Do you find that you're seeing it, watching that movie again now, that there are scenes that maybe that feel different now, like that scene with Carl and Vernon?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and just some of the stuff you wouldn't put that in movies, or some of the comments that they make that wouldn't fly
Yeah.
in movies nowadays.
Like which
Yeah.
so what's a good comment that you think would not even be allowed today?
God, I'm just trying to think of one myself. Like what wouldn't
Or
fly in today's?
situation or something, Natalie, where you're like, ooh,
Oh,
that would not
Well,
fly.
they had a Confederate flag in the library upstairs.
Okay, there you
oh, I
go.
didn't even catch that.
That's
Yeah,
I
and
was
the
like, well,
upper.
that's really weird being in Illinois, a Confederate flag.
Yeah, really.
yeah, it was educational.
Yeah.
You know, but that is even the conversation between Bender and Claire, Molly Ringwald's character. Some of that got a little bit intense, and I think people would have been like, he's speaking inappropriately to her, and he's under the desk, between her legs, and I can imagine some of that would never fly.
She was only like 16 or 17 and he
Yeah.
was 20, 23, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
that definitely wouldn't fly.
No,
That,
there were definitely parts of that you would you'd have to say, well, that might not in this kind of environment today, that would immediately be canceled. Immediately be canceled out.
So Natalie, the soundtrack, walk us through your favorite hits.
Well, the Simple Minds song.
Got it.
It's just such a great song.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is the iconic song.
Yeah.
What other songs are on there that that most people would know?
That's the main one that sticks out for me.
What was the song, Scott, they played when they were running through the hallways?
Oh man, it's a kind of an obscure one. I remember.
It is, but I love that song. That was another one, and then that I think that was when they were running through the hallways. Something, man, I forgot what song it was. But the Tears for Fear song, like you said, Natalie, is probably the most iconic song of the movie. That song, probably the movie really helped that song along, I'm sure.
So Natalie, that was high school years.
Yeah.
Now you get into college,
St.
and after
Elmo's
college,
Fire.
St. Elmo's Fire. So it's just literally we're following the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
So we got St. Elmo's Fire. Who was your favorite character?
I don't know.
Or who was the one you didn't
I
like?
thought you'd say Rob Lowe immediately.
Well, it was so weird with the saxophone back in,
Okay.
That was kind of weird. But he had, his hair was like,
oh,
boom. He had the hair.
Yeah.
So you had Rob Lowe. Who else did you like in this movie? This like pivotal kind of post-graduate.
Demi Moore, and she was just really trying so hard to nail the like after college life, and
that's
failed
right.
miserably.
Oh yeah.
Her friends picked her up. That's great.
Yeah. What did you think about that? Well, like why did you like this movie? You had high school, you like Breakfast Club. It's a high school movie, right? Essentially. Then you get into kind of this post college scene with St. Elmo's, which was a classic, obviously. But what was it?
The first time I saw it,
yeah.
I mean, it was like, oh, okay. But I didn't really get it, I don't think, until I got out of college and was kind of trying to find my identity myself,
Yeah. Yeah. Did you find it hard? Like, did you find that like that transition hard? And how did the movie speak to you on that?
I kind of felt, Demi Moore trying to nail that part of her life. But then, you got Alec and Judd Nelson, or what's her name? Ali Shee's character.
Yeah.
They're trying to make the relationship work, but then Kirby Kager with Andy McDowell, and they're trying to, he crushed on her hardcore, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
really.
forgot about
Yeah.
Andy McDowell. I forgot Andy McDowell was in that one too. I totally
And
forgot about that.
and what about the soundtrack? There was a pretty famous
Yeah, yeah,
title track.
yeah.
Now, do
And
you
it's
have
Who
that
was
funny.
on? Do
that?
you have that on your Spotify list? Like,
Oh,
or is this
yeah.
like, and now do you work out to it? Like, tell us what's going on in your head, Natalie. With
I usually just have it on when I'm driving or
there you
whatever.
go.
But I like at the end of the movie because they're going to St. Elmo's bar, but they're like, oh, let's find somewhere else that's a little more quiet because there's so
Yeah,
many kids here.
yeah, yeah,
Isn't that funny?
yeah.
Yeah.
We're all at that age now where
Yeah.
when we go to the bar, they either ask like, "Are you here to find your daughter or your son?" Or for me, they think I'm there to use the restroom, and they're like, "No,
Yeah.
no, no public restroom. Like, just
Yeah.
go to St. Elmo's,
Yeah.
go somewhere else."
Yeah.
So Natalie, as we're talking here about some of your favorite movies, we've gone through high school, we've gone through college, and maybe post college. And
Yeah.
what about like your like 30s?
When
What
Harry
movie
met
would
Sally.
When Harry Met Sally, which
Yeah.
is the iconic love story. So tell us about this. When
Mm.
did you see it? What did you like about it? Why would you recommend it?
Uh well, I mean, and people find it hard to watch it with me because I can pretty much quote the whole movie.
Got it. That's a true fan.
But everybody had that friend where you don't know how they felt, they didn't know how you felt. Do you cross the line? Do you stay friends? And it gets more of that type of situation in your 20s and 30s. Then you
Yeah.
can just kind of relate.
Yeah.
And then
And
you don't
so
see somebody, and then you can pick right up like you've never missed a day.
yeah. So what did you like about it? What was it the more the characters, or was it the plot, or was it both?
A little bit of both, yeah.
Yeah. And what was your favorite? What's your favorite scene from the
I like when they're shopping because their friends got the apartment and they're in the store and they have the karaoke machine. That cracks me up.
yeah. Yeah.
Oklahoma, right? Doesn't he sing
Yeah.
Oklahoma? That's
Yeah.
right. And then
Surrey
his
with the
ex
fringe on top.
Sorry with the
yes,
French on top.
and then his ex-girlfriend comes in the door and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah." That's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's one of those movies that it's so relatable. Like as you said, everyone knows a couple, that resemble either Harry and Sally, or who I forgot the friends, Carrie Fisher and
Yeah.
the other guy,
Bruno
Bruno
Kirby.
Kirby.
Bruno
Yeah,
Kirby.
he played Jess. That's right.
Yeah.
He played
Now,
Jess.
now, what did this movie want to make you move to New York?
I do like New York, but
Yeah.
it's more expensive than here.
Okay, yeah, true. What were some of the things that you like? Obviously, the plot and the characters. What would you recommend? How would you recommend this movie to someone?
It was actually recommended to me. I don't know that I saw it in the theater, but this
Yeah.
one friend of mine, he's like, "You've got to watch this movie. It's hilarious." I'm like, "Really? Okay." So yeah. Well, and
Got
everybody
it.
knows the restaurant scene. It's, they
Yeah.
play it on radio clips all the time.
And what is it? Can you reenact that for us?
No.
Come on, it's okay. It's okay. We all know it. We've been there. Katz's famous deli, right? And
What,
Yeah,
like
that's
that
right.
she wanted her apple pie a la mode? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
I
That's
remember
right.
that.
It's so we got When Harry Met Sally. We know your favorite scene. We know you're ordering the apple a la mode. Now, we're all pretty much the same age. What movie now? Kind of, this is the last one, and then we won't bother you anymore, Natalie. But what's a movie now that it's your favorite?
Hmm. Well, I watch like all those anytime they're on. I can
Got
watch
it.
them all the
Got it.
time.
So but is there a newer one, like not
Yeah.
a newer one, but one that's become a favorite as you're reaching, later years?
Yeah. Well, I do love like Singles and all those from the 90s.
Okay.
And
Well, I hope you like Singles because obviously
Yeah.
you're living in Seattle, so
Yeah.
duh, you must. Yeah, that's like a no-brainer, and a wicked soundtrack too.
yeah, that's a really good soundtrack.
Is there a new, like kind of a later release, something that was surprising, like something you didn't expect?
I can't even tell you. Well, the last movie I saw was Batman. I mean, that was a
Okay.
really good movie, but
Yeah. No, that's good. Or
but
was
it's
it
not one I can watch over and over and over again.
now what okay, so what is the one that's on TV that you just will not switch off? You just got to watch the whole thing.
Mhm.
Oh wow. Oh, I don't. I can't even think off the top of my head because
No,
I like so many.
yeah. Well, what else was on the list, John? We had the list that you got. We
Well,
had
the Goonies.
the
Oh, the
Goonies.
Goonies. I saw that house just sold too.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah.
just bought that house
Like
for like 1 million.
1.7 or
Yeah,
something.
someone
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
bought the house for that movie. So Goonies was another one that you liked a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was like? What is like? I would just say this: you have some friends coming, and you got to recommend three
Mm.
movies that are not the ones you just talked about. That you got to say, hey, to learn about me, I want you to watch these movies. It's a tough one, Natalie.
Footloose would probably be on there.
Love it.
Footloose.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And why Footloose, Nat? What makes that one stand out?
Also a good soundtrack.
got
I
it.
didn't care for the remake of
Oh,
it as
God.
much.
No.
Yeah.
And I
God
didn't
forbid.
like that soundtrack as well.
Yeah. But
There-
that was one you really like. I mean, there was a small
Yeah.
town, right? I mean,
yeah.
in the small
Yeah.
town.
What was
kinda
it
from-
about that? If you said, hey, you got to learn about me, watch Footloose.
Yeah.
So what part of it? Was it Ren's dancing or is it the small town feel? What is
Probably
it
Ren's
that
dancing.
okay? So we kind of learning a little bit more about you. Where
Well, and you had a
like,
certain set of rules because my parents were fairly strict
oh
with
yeah.
certain things. So you had a certain set of rules, and I mean,
Yeah.
I had freedoms, but they monitored me.
They got you. Thank
Yeah.
God. Thank God there was no iPhones then. They
Right.
couldn't track
Yeah.
you. So small, yeah, but it's a small town feel. It's a very kind of
Yeah.
conservative town. Dancing
Yeah.
was not allowed.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, it's that's
Yeah.
actually a really interesting example because
Yeah.
you grew up in a rural town, sounds
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
fairly small with kind of a central high school. That's
Mhm.
correct.
Yeah.
And did you see some of that? Those characters like the preacher's daughter who wanted to rebel,
Yeah.
or were you the preacher's daughter?
No, I was not, but I
Okay.
had a friend who was.
All right. Okay. So you were
Yeah.
who was in there? Sally. Oh, who was the girl
Sarah
from Sex
Jessica
and the City?
Parker.
Sarah Jessica
That's
Parker.
right. Sarah Jessica Parker.
So you were
was in that
Jessica.
movie.
So Natalie, you
Yeah.
were Sarah Jessica Parker, trying to tell the preacher's daughter to chill out. Don't put on the music. That's a great
Yeah.
example now. So we got Footloose. What's another one? We'll just do two here.
Yeah. Dirty Dancing, that was also really good.
Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Similar, kind of a similar
Yeah.
story, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
two people not really supposed to be together. Kind of the guy from the bad part of town. And
Well, and now he's like so much older than her. I don't think that would fly probably now either.
Maybe not.
only in Japan. Only if there was a Japanese version.
In Japan. Yeah, Japan is fine.
Yeah. So Dirty Dancing. Yeah, you know what? I've only seen this movie once. I prefer Footloose.
Yeah.
What is it about Dirty Dancing that you love? Not the soundtrack. Tell me
Right.
about like no, I'm just trying to see like what is it? Is it the small town feel or is it the kind of like the music? I mean the dancing.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed the dancing and
Yeah.
I liked the story and how she got to learn to dance and everything
Yeah,
and
all
all the
people.
lifts in the water and all that. And it was well, and I mean that was set like back in the 50s or whatever. So
Yeah.
nobody did those type of vacations to like those mountain.
Right, the Catskills.
Yeah. That's not a thing.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I don't know what it would be.
Yeah.
No,
Like
I mean Disney World. I mean, I don't know if they have
Not
those.
really.
Or
TikTok.
like a
Yeah.
cruise.
It'd be more
Yeah,
like just like
cruise, I guess,
everyone
right?
on a Zoom call are doing TikTok dancing.
Yeah.
Dirty TikTok. I don't know what you would call it. Yeah. Dirty
No,
talk. Dirty talk.
I think you're right. Now, probably the only thing close to that would be a cruise where you have like activities planned for you, or you
Yeah.
could join activities because that's a style of vacation that doesn't exist anymore. No, you're right.
Well, and who can take off that much time off of work?
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Dude.
Not really. That's totally not realistic. You're like,
That
hey,
hurts.
there's
That's
no summer
true.
break.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is great, Natalie. So, I first of all, thank you so much. Like, we
Yeah.
really appreciate it. You have two, criminal looking guys like staring down at you at the Zoom here. So thanks for dealing with us for 30 minutes here.
Yeah.
If there's any last words that you would give to someone about why they should listen to Steph Nation. Now, this is kind of a self-promotion disguised as a prog, but
and you can't say because of our good looks. You have to keep that out.
Yeah. And not my dancing. John's seen my dancing.
I've seen his dancing.
It looks like someone. It looks like
it's more than dirty. It's
more
like
than
someone
dirty. Shot me in the legs as I'm moving. Right? Someone's like snipering in one knee, and I go that way, and then in the other knee, and they just
some convulsing that goes on.
Alternate shots.
There's a lot of this.
He's moving. He's moving. I just got to tell you, I really want to thank you for listening to our show. You know, it's a new show, and it's very hard to get interaction and to get people to listen. There's so much out there. So thank you. And what have you enjoyed about the show? Again, another plug here. It's just, but I really wanted to get the fans' perspective, and we're always trying to figure out, like, do we suck? Like, this is terrible.
No. When I listen to it, I find myself commenting to you guys, but you can't hear me because I was like, oh, but
that's what we're trying to get out of you.
Yeah,
that's
totally relatable.
Man, we love to hear that, because John and I are just music fans, right? That's the whole point of this. It's a fan's perspective. We're not directors. We're not in Hollywood. And you're a fan too. And so this is the great thing. That's why when John and I talked about this, it's like, there's so many people that the movies have affected so much. And we were just saying, hey, John, I think people have heard our opinions, especially mine. Like, let's hear what other people have to say. And what, in terms of the movies, now, how would you say to someone why you like movies? You got to explain to someone who's like, yeah, I don't like movies. What would you tell them?
Oh, it just lets you escape from everyday stress.
Oh man,
for sure.
You're telling me like maybe like, make life the movie, so you're in a constant escape. It's just like, so if you had to
escape from reality.
Last question: if you had to escape, what would be your escape scene? What would be the place you would escape to? It could be, I don't know, the town where Footloose was at. It could be Sherman High School, where Breakfast Club. Where would you go?
Oh, probably somewhere beachy and warm.
Oh yeah, Cocktail. So, what about that movie?
Cocktail. Yeah, with Tom Cruise. Cocktail. Some like in the Bahamas. Drinking Tom Cruise cocktail drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be up for that too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to do a special segment on Cocktail, and we'll have to somehow with CGI, Natalie, all this technology, we'll put you in there, right? We'll put you on that scene where I think the lady falls and Tom Cruise is kissing her and is just like, making out with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, definitely 80s or 90s Tom Cruise.
Okay. Now,
on that.
The Botox may hurt your skin. His Botox is so hard, it just may hurt. Oh, Natalie. Well, listen, again, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for
Natalie.
introducing Natalie to the show.
Yeah, thanks for being a fan, Natalie. We really appreciate you. We thank you for listening. Tell your friends, tell all your friends about us. But no, thank you for coming out tonight. I know this is something you usually don't do on a Saturday night. We do this every Saturday night because we have nothing else to do.
That's right. You got to wonder, like, what are these guys doing on Saturday? They have obviously no life. It's Saturday night. Let's talk about the weather. Well, in your honor, what we're going to do is we're going to try to recreate that dance scene in Footloose, Ren, where it's got the white tank top. Okay.
I think I might.
Yeah, I'm going to punch.
My wife will definitely question me heavily on that. Definitely.
Because you also like Goonies, maybe John does the truffle shuffle. That Chunk had to do. And then I'll do the Ren Footloose.
Great.
And, maybe at the last dance, I could probably do that a little more than his punching in the warehouse. But anyways, now, hey, thank you so much. We'll let you enjoy your Saturday night.
Okay.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.